Hey you foxy people, it's Trafotin. Today, you're going to learn about some of the more obscure features in Firefox, my personal browser of choice. And these features are exclusive to Firefox, and you're not going to find anything like them in any other browser. And if you download Firefox right now, you can use some cool things to help you get around some of the more annoying aspects of the wild internet. Did you know that there are some websites that take away your ability to right-click? Some websites like Discord and Google Drive abuse this even further and completely override the context menu altogether. Well, okay, for those, it's not that bad, but some websites just want to give you a cool context menu. But on the other hand, there are also some websites that abuse this and try to take away your freedom when you visit their pages, ranging from allowing you to copy text, downloading images, or just right-clicking in general. Don't think you can use Shift F10 to bypass this either, because websites block that one too. And don't think you can use your right-click key, assuming it hasn't become a co-pilot key, to bypass the right-click, because the websites also register that one as well and prevent you from right-clicking. But Firefox has an easy way to bypass this, and this is something that Chromium-based browsers don't have. Here's what you have to do. Shift, right-click. That's it. And this will always give you access to your ability to right-click, even if websites try to have measures in place to prevent you from doing so. And I actually learned this by accident years ago, and no matter where I search, this whole feature of Firefox seems to be completely undocumented. So the next time a website blocks you from copying text or right-clicking, you're going to shift right-click and make them regret it. And one of the other cool features of Firefox is Firefox's picture-in-picture mode. Any video on any website, whether it's written with DRM or not, can be popped out into a floating window where you can watch said video in the background. This is a floating window that you can drag around, and it also sits on top of your windows. And it's super useful if you're trying to follow a tutorial, multitask, or you just want to watch 10 billion videos at once. But the real benefit of Firefox's picture-in-picture mode isn't just its background playing. Picture-in-picture mode also allows you to gain more control over websites that try to take that freedom away from you, or give you functionality that's not normally available in the many different web players that litter the internet. So one of the most common workarounds that I found is on TikTok. First off, TikTok on Firefox is super annoying, and you have to use TikTok with minimal configuration. Don't think you can use the Mulvad browser or your special ArcandFox configuration. It's not going to work. You have to use Firefox with settings very close to the defaults. What's more is when you visit TikTok, sometimes the player bar will just disappear for like no reason. But one of the things that you can use Firefox's picture-in-picture mode to do is it gives you the ability to gain that player back. But what it also does is it lets you fast forward or rewind a video by 5 seconds, which is incredibly useful. And using Firefox's picture-in-picture mode will allow you to resize subtitles to be large print subtitles. But one of the other weird workarounds is Twitch. Twitch injects ads into the live streams of your favorite streamers, including streamers who didn't even decide to run the ad breaks themselves, and Twitch's algorithm just magically decided to force them into an ad break. But you'll notice at the top right corner, you can still watch your streamer. And Firefox, when you hover over that video, you can still get the picture-in-picture button. And if you click said picture-in-picture button and unmute that video stream and mute the ad, you can go back to watching your streamer during the ad break as if it was business as normal.
This is going to get into an upcoming video.
This world is too corrupt.
Now, picture-in-picture mode might seem like a really simple setting, but I want to show you just how far you can take something like Firefox's picture-in-picture mode. And one of the most obscure ways that I took advantage of this was our HR training. Every year, our HR department forces us to take boring, canned training videos. And they do this for compliance. They don't do this because they want to, but that's just the world we live in. And the training is hosted by one of the big business training solutions on a website, usually that blocks all of these things. You can't right click, you can't play videos in the background if you use a Chromium-based browser. It's incredibly annoying. Now, one of the most interesting things is that many of these services will also block you from fast forwarding videos, and because you can't play them in the background, you are effectively forced to sit there and watch the entire video. Now, since I normally use Microsoft Edge on my work computer, and the website blocked Microsoft Edge's picture-in-picture player, which is Google's picture-in-picture player, I wanted to see what a site would do if I fed it into Firefox. And I noticed the picture-in-picture button only appeared with longer videos in the training. And activating picture-in-picture also presented me a warning, telling me that Firefox's picture-in-picture mode was not recommended by the developer. Now, to research this warning and to find out why Firefox was doing this, I decided to delve a little bit into Mozilla's documentation. Also really funny, there was a typo in the pop-up if you didn't actually notice, so I need to go report that to Mozilla. The default settings will not show you the picture-in-picture button for videos that are shorter than 45 seconds. Now, this doesn't appear to be consistent on every single website. For example, you'll notice that on YouTube and TikTok, for example, you are always able to get access to the player. But the not recommended warning was because the training site's developers block picture-in-picture mode on Chromium-based browsers. The website in turn will warn you that picture-in-picture mode is blocked on Firefox. But one cool thing about Firefox is Firefox will never take away your control to use the picture-in-picture player, and they will not block you from doing so. So you, as the user, will always have full control over the content that you watch. Now, that being said, I still wanted to figure out a way around the 45-second limit, so I decided to explore Mozilla's about:config, which is a way of accessing the more advanced settings in Firefox if you type in about:config into the URL bar. And given that you've made it this far and you navigate to this URL, if you click accept the risk and continue, you can type the following values into the search bar, and we can start setting some of the more advanced features in Firefox. Two of them I think are going to be of peak interest here. The first is media, video controls, picture-in-picture, respect, disable picture-in-picture, and set that value to false. And then what you want to do is you want to look for the value media, video controls, picture-in-picture, video toggle, always show, and set that value to true. Making these changes in Firefox's about:config will always make sure that no matter what content you watch, you will always be presented with the picture-in-picture button, no matter what a website developer's demands, or if a video is shorter than 45 seconds or not. And if you're wondering why this isn't enabled by default, one of the reasons this isn't enabled by default is because there are some videos that will just play by you hovering your mouse over a video. While TikTok is one example of this, let's pick out another example. And the example that I picked out is Fox News. On Fox News' video section, you'll notice that if you hover over video, the video will continue to play, but also there's a massive picture-in-picture button just over the thumbnail of the player, and then clicking on the thumbnail will then play the preview that plays when you hover your mouse over it. So it can probably annoy you a little bit to have the picture-in-picture button on everything, but you can probably just do this temporarily if you have a few custom tasks to do, like say skip out on an HR training because the player only checks if you finished watching the video, but not if you actually watched the video all the way through. Now, I understand that this is all really cool, gaining the ability to right-click, or having this picture-in-picture player that unlocks all of these really cool controls you never thought that you would have on Firefox. But what isn't very cool is Firefox has been losing desktop and mobile market share very drastically, and estimates hover that it's about less than 3% combined on both desktop and mobile. And the reason I might have gotten away from skipping my HR training is because developers don't program their websites with Firefox in mind anymore. They just use Chrome and they use Google Lighthouse, and then they call it a day once their website's optimized and pushed out to the masses. When you critically examine Firefox, features like always being able to bypass right-click protection and Firefox's picture-in-picture mode are reasons that I promote Firefox so hard. These features are only in Firefox, but what's more important to me and what's more telling is that they're user-facing changes that make your experience of browsing the web better, but also solving some of the more, let's say, universal problems of having to visit some of the worst websites on the internet. And I hope after today and learning about some of these little tips that they make your experience on the web that much better. But do you want to know what will make your experience on the web that much more better? Hitting the like button on this video. Hit that like button on the video if you want to watch deepfake Tom Cruise gallivanting around doing ridiculous things on TikTok. Also, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. You can visit my website, Trafotin.com, for transcripts, and you can also see some of the creators that I featured here. So why don't you go visit them and tell them that you heard about them from me. So thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Have a great rest of your week.